Good day, learners. This is Leia Alcazar, and in today's lesson, we will tackle about Module 3, Lesson 1, Development and Use of Non-Digital or Conventional Materials. So sit back, relax, and focus, and listen to the video attentively. Enjoy watching! The teachers need instructional materials to enhance teaching and learning. According to Ifyong and Igori 2015, instructional materials are defined as print and non-print items that are rested to impact information to students in the educational process. Examples of instructional materials are the following: drawings, kits, textbooks, posters, magazines, flip charts, newspapers, diorama, pictures, recording videos, and the like. Instructional materials have several rules in teaching and learning, which includes the following. First, they promote meaningful communication and effective learning. Second, they ensure better retention, thus making learning more permanent. Third, they help to overcome the limited classroom by making the inaccessible accessible. Fourth, they provide a common experience upon which late learning can be developed. And fifth, they encourage participation, especially if students are allowed to manipulate materials used. Instructional materials are the supplementary materials in which it helps the teacher to make his or her presentation concrete, effective, interesting, meaningful, and inspiring. It is important to understand how to develop instructional materials. According to Heigler 2014, instructional materials refers to any pre-existing materials that are being incorporated, as well as to those that will be specifically developed for the objectives. There are also several factors to consider in developing instructional materials, and these are the following. First, develop a storyboard and working outline based on the subject goals and objectives. Second, identify existing institutional resources, including materials and teachers' capability. Third, the teacher may research off-the-shelf materials that have been developed by others to determine if their approach could be useful. Fourth, explore the possibility of adapting concepts of other teachers without infringing on anyone's copy-protected design. Fifth, modify existing materials based on the objectives of the lesson. Sixth, if the instructional materials are effective, you can share them with other teachers. And lastly, the teacher developer can also sell her or his materials available. Instructional materials are a great help in stimulating and facilitating the learning of the learners. According to Wright 1976, a cited in Cooper 2006, many media and many styles of visual presentation are useful to the language learner. All audio-visual materials have positive contribution to the language learning as long as they are used at the right time in the right place. In the teaching and learning process, learners use their eyes as well as their ears, but their eyes are basic in learning. These are examples of instructional materials. Diorama will make the room to be creative and innovative. It is a fun way to build an exciting scene in a small space. Dioramas are small scenes created of layers of materials, all depicting a similar concept or theme. They usually display a historical time period, a nature scene, or a fictional situation. In developing diorama, you will choose a concept or theme. Second, research the subject. Third, make a rough sketch of your ideal diorama. Fourth, make a list of items you'll need and gather your supplies. And lastly, select a container or box. Nature table. This is a table that contains objects and or scenes related to the current season or upcoming festival or a symbol of an ecosystem. Children love to follow the natural changes that the world offers each month, and classroom decorations reflect this. Writing board. A writing board can display information written with chalkboard or blackboard, or special pen, whiteboard. Although there are usually more effective methods of transmitting information, the writing board is still the commonly used visual aid. Suggestions on using the writing board are the following. Flip chart. It is a large tablet or pad of paper, usually on a tripod or stand. Suggestions on using flip chart are the following. Zigzag board. It is a multi-board series of 3 or 4 rectangular boards. They are joined together along the side by hinges so that they can be easily folded up and carried. Each board can be of a different type. For example, a whiteboard, a chalkboard, a flannel board, and so on. The size of the boards for the zigzag multi-boards depends on what you want to use them for. Wall display. Displaying items on a classroom wall is a well-known, tried, and tested educational method. A wall display is a collection of many different types of items and materials put up on a wall to make an interesting and informative display. In a classroom, the display can consist of the student's own work. In development work, it can be used to convey information to the community. Rope and pole display board. This board consists of 2 parallel, horizontal poles tied loosely together with rope. Visual aids such as posters can be pinned to the rope. This kind of display board is invaluable where there are few solid walls for displaying information. It has no solid backing and can be made quickly for teaching, training, and when working with communities. Guidelines when designing conventional instructional materials are the following. Unity, simplicity, legibility, consistency, clarity, and quality. These guidelines may help a lot when constructing or creating an instructional materials in presenting, in order to enhance the lesson or make the presentation not boring and pleasant to look at. So the first guideline is unity. Use only one idea for each visual aid and include a headline. So in designing instructional materials, it should be uniform. No other scratches or many ideas to avoid messing in an organized visual aid. The second one is simplicity. Make ideas and relationships simple and easy to recall. Avoid cluttering a visual with too many words, numbers, or graphics. The audience should be able to grasp the concept in 10 to 15 seconds. So it must be direct to the point and not done too wordy to avoid lengthy text. The third one is legibility. Make letters big and readable for all in the audience. So of course, make sure that your instructional materials are readable from the distance where the audiences are. So the fourth one is consistency. Use the same type style and art style. You must still grasp the same type style and art style to keep track to the original art plan that you have. The fifth one is the clarity. Avoid type that is too small to read. Avoid all caps. It must be clear and use letters appropriately. The last one is the quality. Make it neat and professional. And remember to proofread. So having a neat and professional instructional materials will make your audience to focus and listen to the lessons attentively.